Hello, hello, Celia, hello.
Hello?
Are you ready?
Yes.
Wait couple of minutes, then we will begin.
Okay. So I will share my presentation already. I'm prepared. Now, do you see my presentation?
Yes, but it's not full screen if you want that.
Yeah.
Now we see it. Perfect.
Okay. Mhm.
Celia, I request you to introduce yourself first
Okay.
and please introduce in detail. We like to hear about your experiences and your journey. And then you begin your presentation, of course.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll do it a little bit together. I prepared so my presentation and the PowerPoint. Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, my name is Celia, as I think you know, and today I would like to take you on a journey through my experience as a shepherdess. Yeah, although I was born in Donosti, in a city in the Basque Country of Spain, um, I have always had deep connections to the countryside and to the nature. So I decided to study organic agriculture sciences at the University of Kassel in Germany. And then I decided, after my studies, I decided to apply my knowledge practically. So for me, a key turning point was attending a shepherding school in Spain after my studies. And that experience at the shepherding school sparked a deep passion for this profession. And I have now been practicing it for over 4 years. So I'm a shepherdess. So during these years, I have worked in diverse landscapes and countries across Europe, including challenging terrain on the Alps, where managing herds in predator-prone areas is a challenge. And I've also spent time in the valleys, practicing winter grazing to make the most of the land during the colder months. So I also oversee right now, or I'm working right now at the lambing season in a farm in Switzerland. So in all of these environments, I rely heavily on shepherding and working dogs, which are crucial for guiding and protecting, as we talk later in the presentation, for the flock and maintaining a harmonious relationship with the land. So yeah, today maybe I want to invite you a little bit to reflect on the value of trustaments and pastoralisms, and how these plays a vital role in sustaining our rural landscapes and ecosystems. So yeah. So trustaments is much more than a cultural tradition. So it is a very important tool for sustainable land management, rural landscape preservation, and also like a very efficient use of natural resources throughout the year. So throughout my career as a shepherdess, I faced many challenges, like from managing flocks in very harsh environments to adapting to climate change, which as a shepherd is, or as a shepherd you can feel a lot, and even adjusting to shifting social dynamics and rural depopulation. So in this presentation, I will share a little bit with you like the challenges of managing herds in mountain areas with predators, where strategies like using herding dogs and guardian dogs are essential. The importance of winter grazing in valleys, which helps maintain the balance between the herd and the surrounding ecosystem. The role of shepherding dogs in flock management, and the very important relationship between shepherds, sheep, and livestock guardian dogs, which are vital for protecting flocks from predators and coexisting with wildlife. So my goal for this talk is to be an opportunity for us to reflect on the future of pastoralism and how it can contribute to create a more sustainable world. So I guess you already talked a lot of about trustaments. Yeah, maybe like a little bit or a short definition of trustaments. Trustaments is the seasonal movement of livestock between different grazing areas, which allows shepherds to make use of the land that vary throughout the year. So there are two main types of trustaments or in Europe. So there is the horizontal tracements, such as the Spanish routes known as Cañadas Reales, which facilitates the movement of livestock between northern and southern regions of Spain. So these routes allow shepherds to shift their herds seasonally between lowlands and highland pastures. And there is also the vertical tracements, so which is very often practiced in the Alps, where livestock ascend to higher mountain pastures in the summer and descend back to the valleys in the winter to avoid very cold temperatures. Yeah, I think the benefits of tracements are also clear. Like one of them is, for example, like prevention of overgrazing. So by moving livestock seasonally, pastures are allowed to regenerate, which helps maintain the soil health. Also promoting biodiversity. So livestock naturally disperse seeds as they graze. And for example, a study by the Association Transhumante from Spain found that transhumant livestock can carry up to 2,000 seeds a day in the wool, contributing to the regeneration of plant species. So these practices are not only ecologically important, but also part of the cultural heritage in many regions, preserving rural landscapes, and they have a very important historical significance. And yeah, despite the challenges involved, transhumance remains like a vital tool for environmental sustainability and responsible resource management. Yeah, so transhumance in the Alps, where I work for several years now in the mountains. Yeah, so in the Alps, transhumance is vertical, usually vertical. So shepherds move their herds to the mountain pastures in the summer and bring them down to the valleys in the winter. So managing herds in the Alps, it can be very challenging. So the terrain is steep and difficult, which complicates herd movement. Some pastures are hard to reach, and this requires skilled navigation to guide the herd safely. And tourism impact is also, or can interface with pastoral activities, as hikers and tourists often do not understand actually the need of the flocks or the role of the shepherds, making herd management very complex. So yeah, these are some of the challenge, and also maintaining flock cohesion is maintaining like the flock. Being a flock is very difficult. So keeping the flock together is very important. It's essential for protection from predators, especially wolves and bears, which are which are found in the Alps. And this requires careful planning and the assistance of herding dogs. I don't know the exact word, herding dogs or shepherding dogs, or maybe you can use both, I'm not sure. So it's also very important implementing protective strategies, as I talked. I used techniques such as directed grazing with shepherding dogs and setting up electric fences to keep the flock safe from predators. And also adapting to unpredictable weather conditions. So the weather at so high altitude, we are always so up to 2,000 meters and even more. And the weather in the Alps can change or in these high mountains can change very drastically. And thunderstorms and snowstorms are very common, and they can create stressful situations for both animals and shepherds. So despite of the difficulties, the transhumance in the Alps shows how pastoralism can balance sustainable protection with conservation of landscapes. So, yeah, transhumance in Spain. I'm from Spain, and now I'm working more in the Alps, but I worked also a lot in Spain. So I have also experienced the transhumance, which has a very strong tradition there. Because there in Spain, transhumance has a very rich history, especially through the ancient network of Cañadas Reales. And these routes extend over 125,000 kilometers, and were and are actually vital for shepherds moving their herd across the country. So, for example, one of the most important routes is the Cañada Real de la Plata, and it connects different regions in Spain, serving like as a lifeline for shepherds and contributing to preservation of native breeds and rural economies. Transhumance in Spain also faces several modern challenges. So one of them is urbanization. As cities expand, they encroach on traditional transhumance routes. Also, the loss of traditional knowledge. The average age of the shepherds in Spain is over 60 years old, and only about 7% of the shepherds are under 40 years old, which means vital skills and techniques of shepherding are being lost. So also economic challenges, extensive grazing of small ruminants like sheep or goats, which have a very extended tradition in Spain. It's in these modern times not very profitable. So it makes very hard for young people to continue this profession. And also climate change. The changes in weather patterns affects pasture availability, especially in semi-arid regions like Spain. So from my experience, I think one of the most significant challenges I observed was the lack of generational knowledge transfer, so which threatens sustainability in this profession. If we don't act now to preserve these practices, we risk losing not only the knowledge, but also the landscapes that depend on them. So, yeah. Livestock protection is a top priority on pastoralism, especially in regions with predators like wolves or bears. These have an active presence in the Alp regions and also in northern of Spain. There are a lot of wolves and also bears. And yeah, to ensure the safety of the flock, we implement several strategies. So one of them is the active shepherd presence. So the constant supervision is essential, especially in predator-prone areas and difficult terrain. And we rely on directed grazing, where we guide the herd through carefully planned grazing routes. We are active, we active guide the herds the whole day. Yeah, and also like electric fences. So these are used to protect the flock at night, usually, creating a barrier that prevents predators from reaching the sheep. Also, it's important to plan the lambing seasons, so the birth timings, so that lambs are not born in the mountain pastures where they would be more vulnerable for predators. So young lambs need extra care and attention, and they are not made to, yeah, they are too, they need too much attention to be born in the mountains, which is a very difficult and raw terrain. So also implementation of livestock guardian dogs. These dogs are trained specifically to protect livestock from predators. They stay close to the herd, deterring predators with their presence. So additionally, as many of the regions, there are a lot of tourists, and it's very important to raise awareness among the mountain visitors. Tourists often don't understand why we need livestock guardian dogs and how they function. So educating the public is crucial for ensuring the safety of both tourists and the animals. Here are some photos from my experiences, like implementing fences, working in a very in mountains with a lot of tourism. So herding dogs or shepherding dogs are indispensable in the daily management of the flocks, especially in challenging terrain. So the primary role of these dogs is to help the herd and keep it united. To help to move the herd and keep it united. And so they guide them along grazing routes and ensure that they stay together. So popular herding breeds are Border Collie, Kelpies, or some other breeds like the Basque Shepherd Dog or Pyrenean Shepherd Dog. And these dogs are known for their intelligence and agility and ability to work closely with their shepherds. From my experience, training these dogs takes a lot of time and patience and knowledge. And it requires a deep understanding of both dogs' instincts and the sheep and also the terrain. So in some regions where I worked, having one or two well-trained dogs is crucial. I have myself two well-trained dogs. And often the success of the shepherd is measured by how skilled the dogs are. So beyond of their technical or working abilities, herding dogs form deep bonds with their shepherds. So they are just not workers, they are also collaborators and companions. So livestock guardian dogs. Yeah, in contrast to herding dogs, livestock guardian dogs are more or are specifically bred to protect the flock from predators. So they don't move, they don't guide the herd, but they protect them. So breeds like Maremma abruzzese or Pyrenean mountain dog, Kangals or Mastiffs have a natural instinct to defend livestock from predators. So these dogs are raised alongside the sheep from a very young age, and they develop strong bonds and a protective instinct. Once trained, they are left alone with the flock, and they deterring any potential predators such as wolves or bears. Yeah, for me, it's I love working with livestock guardian dogs. So one of the most surprising things I learned while working with these dogs is the importance of the role in maintaining balance with the ecosystem. So while some people maybe fear the presence of guardian dogs, they play a very important role in minimizing the need for more extreme measures like hunting predators, and they contribute actively to preserving biodiversity. Here are some of my dogs. These are my both shepherding dogs. The hairy one is a Basque shepherd dog, and the other one is Kelpie. And these ones are Maremma abruzzese. The white ones are Maremma abruzzese. Yeah. So winter grazing. In Switzerland, where I now work, there is like a very specific system of transhumance called Winterweide, which takes place from December 1st to March 15th during the vegetative pause in the region. So this system allows sheep to graze on specific pastures during the winter months, which are typically not used for other livestock like dairy cows. Dairy cows are the predominant type of livestock in Switzerland. So the cows in winter are in the stable, and this allows the sheep to graze the pastures during the winter. So Winterweide is based on a careful rotational grazing, where sheep do not graze the same area twice. So we go only once per pasture, and it requires shepherds to move the flock through different areas. And we need to ask for permission from other farmers to use the pastures. So these pastures, the rest of the year, are typically used for haymaking or are grazed by dairy cows during the rest of the year. And one of the unique aspects of this practice is that sheep graze on the leftover grass, which is otherwise unused in the winter months. So the idea is to reduce the height of the grass to an ideal size. The ideal size is often described as being the size of a fist. And this ensures that the pastures do not become overgrown with old, poor quality grass, which would prevent for healthy growth or fresh grass in the spring. And the grazing of the sheep during the winter is not only important for the animals' diet, but also plays a very important role in maintaining the quality of the pasture for other livestock. And this practice helps improve soil health and promotes the regeneration of higher quality pastures grasses for the following seasons. So yeah, this art from grazing benefits both the transhumant flocks of the sheep and the other farmers who rely on a high quality pasture for the dairy cows. And by allowing the sheep to graze these pastures, it ensures that the grass remains in good condition for the upcoming years. So it helps maintaining the traditional farming systems of the region. So yeah, a bit conclusion words. So pastoralism is, as I experience it, is not just only a profession. It's a way of life that allows us to obtain high quality protein-rich food in a very sustainable manner. And by utilizing resources and land that would otherwise be unsuitable for conventional agriculture, I think pastoralism contributes to the production of healthy, nutrient-dense food while minimizing environmental impact. So I think this system provides a crucial alternative to industrial agriculture, which often contribute to pollution, soil degradation, and biodiversity loss. And supporting pastoralism means promoting a more sustainable and localized and ethical food production model. So for me, it's vital to recognize the immense value of shepherding. So policies that support young shepherds, invest in rural communities, and promote sustainable practices are very important to keep this tradition alive. So pastoralism and being a shepherdess requires hard work and commitment and strength and resilience, and we must make it economically viable for the younger generations and also for our generation. And without support, many young people will continue to leave the profession, and these very important practices could disappear. So I think we need a stronger collaboration between researchers, conservationists, policymakers, shepherds, to address the challenges of the future, like the climate change, biodiversity loss, and land management. And I think by sharing knowledge and refining new techniques, we can ensure that pastoralism evolves to meet modern challenges while preserving its benefits. And I think to preserve pastoralism and transhumance, it's very important to encourage younger generations to join this profession. So I think it's important not only to talk about pastoralism, but actually be a pastor, be a shepherd. So I think shepherding schools are essential for passing on the skills and knowledge needed to continue this practice. And I think so the wisdom of older shepherds must be shared with younger generation to ensure that these traditions continue to live. And without the youth involvement, we risk losing our vital expertise and a connection to the land that has existed for very many years, for centuries. And throughout my work in Switzerland and in Austria and in Italy, France, and in Spain, I've encountered the same challenges everywhere. So the increasing bureaucratic burdens, the low profitability possibility of extensive grazing and the lack of generational turnover. So many young people, many people leave the profession due to its demanding nature, and others fail to recognize the value of this practice. So I think people often see office jobs with better working conditions and fixed hours as more attractive. But I think shepherding offers something essential that cannot be replaced. And this is a profound connection to the land, to the animals, and nature itself. And I think pastoralists not only provide, as I said, high quality, sustainable food, but also delivers important ecosystem services. And I think, or as we know, it helps maintaining healthy soils or support biodiversity, and ensures that sustainable use of land that would maybe otherwise be unfit for conventional farming. And these services benefit not only the shepherds, but also other people like farmers, landowners, and rural communities. Yeah, I think if we don't act to support shepherds and these traditional practices, we risk losing a way of life that has sustained rural communities and landscapes and ecosystems for centuries. And protecting pastoralism is about more than preserving a profession, as I said. It's about safeguarding a sustainable future for our food systems, ecosystems, and cultural heritage. And I think maybe together we can work towards a more sustainable future for our profession, and one that values tradition, but also embraces innovation and ensures that shepherds continue to contribute to a balanced and thriving world. So yeah, these are the sources, and thank you for listening. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Celia, for your wonderful, wonderful presentation. And first of all, we respect you a lot uh, for the fact that you have been into this occupation and profession when the young generation has been leaving it already. So it's a great respect for you. And now we invite the participants and audience to ask some questions. Few questions are already in the chat box, so you can attend them. And then some more people may ask on the camera or audio. Thank you. Your mic is off, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I will answer the questions now in the chat. About the lights, the predator deterrence. Yeah, I used some of them. These I think these measures, light measures, can be effective, especially when combined with other strategies like livestock guardian dogs or electrified fencing. Only using the light, it's not effective at all. These lights I think, are generally most effective in areas where predators are more cautious or avoid brightly spaces. But but some of the predators are not afraid at all of human presence and not afraid of all of light. So you can use it because every help is useful, but they are not usually a complex solution. So you have to approach a combination of methods like electric fences and protection dogs and active presence in the herd. So I think these are the most important measures, protection measures. Wait, about the dogs, okay. Yeah, it's more. The more famous breeds is Border Collie, and I know a lot of shepherds that use Border Collies. But I have a Kelpie and a Basque Shepherd dogs. I like Kelpies a lot. So they are really strong and they are highly responsive to commands and are exceptional at moving livestock over large distances. And they are very, very strong, very resilient. They So this is very, very helpful when the flock is spread out over very extensive areas. So kelpies are great working in the mountain. They're great like managing sheep in open spaces and can cover like a lot of, they're really fast, so they can cover a lot of ground very quickly. And they are also like, they have a strong instinct and also a strong ability to think independently. So I think a little bit more than the Border Collie. They are a little bit more independent. So this makes them like excellent controlling livestock and guiding them through very difficult terrain, because I can rely on them that they do the right work also when I don't see them. Yeah. And my other Basque Shepherd dog, this is one that gave to me an old shepherd that I worked with. And these dogs more, or my Basque Shepherd dog is better in short distances. It's great also like in for stable work, farm work. It's very good. It has also like a lot of power, a lot of strength. And so for me, the combination of these dogs is perfect right now. So yeah. Wait, I don't find the next question. Are the challenges the same for transhumans when grazing livestock? Yeah, I only worked with meat with livestock raised for meat, not for milk. In the Alp region, it's more common to have sheep for meat and not for milk. Goats, it's very common to have them for goats and cows, of course. It's very common to have them for milk, but I only worked with meat sheep. I think I know people that work in the mountains with milk livestock, like cows or goats. But in the work is profoundly different. So transhumance with this kind or long distances and long transhumances, I think it can be very difficult because milking must be done regularly, and you need a real reliable system for milking, especially in the mountains or during long grazing periods. Yeah, I can say a lot because I only work with meat and sheep's raised for lambs for meat. How does electric fencing fit in with such a mobile system? So, yeah, we use a modern electric fencing system that are designed to be lightweighted and portable. So nowadays, like they make like the wires and the stakes and the energizers very compact and easy to assemble and disassemble, and making them very practical for mobile systems. And we used actually solar powered energizers, um, and they are also commonly lightweight or but very efficient. And you with the solar panels you eliminate the need for frequent battery replacement. Yeah. I used in some cases rechargeable batteries also. Yeah, but most of them with solar panels. Yeah. Mm. And then the vertical complement. Ah, yeah, like I refer to vertical transhumance to the movement of the livestock between lowland valleys and very high altitude pastures based on the seasons. And usually is this also like a seasonal movement. So it's not only vertical, it's a vertical seasonal movement of livestock between different elevations. And this allow us to take advantage of the availability of grassland. And this is especially important in mountain regions like the Alps. Like in not usually or always in the summer, livestock ascend to the high altitude pastures, and where grass grows as the snow melts, and these areas are known like as alpage in France. Um, and provide livestock an abundant and very fresh food source during the warmer months. And in the winter, livestock descend to the valleys or to lower elevations where the climate is milder and the land is also more accessible. Yeah. And they graze like on winter pastures, like I said, in the winter valleys in Switzerland. Yeah, and high altitude pastures are like used and not you cannot use the high altitude pasture in the winter due to the strong snow cover, but they are ideal for grazing in the summer. And also in the summer, like the cooler and high altitude environment provides like a better condition for the livestock and avoids heat stress for sheep. Yeah.
Hi, Celia. I think I was next with a question. I'm going to get rid of this. Hello, hello. Thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation. Um, I'm so interested in the youth sort of dilemma. I'm based here in the Netherlands, and I also have been to Spain in the Asturias region with, I guess it was the School of Shepherding, and also in France. And what I'm noticing here is that a lot of young people are actually tuning in to shepherding because they're finding, city life is, well, they're getting burnouts. They're looking and searching for more meaningful ways to be connected to being alive and even to the land, and something really tangible to and physical rather than in the head or and being in nature. So it's quite something that, and also I teach, so I see a lot of younger people with environmental what's it called, like depression, what to do next, or completely also sort of frozen about, the future. So, it's such a bizarre thing that shepherding is not promoted even in schools as an occupation. And I was wondering if I mean, you're a perfect role model. You're young, you're a woman, so that was really amazing that women are turning to the occupation, maybe. So I'm curious about this idea of not only how youth are so maybe fitted to this occupation, but it's not even a career choice or even talked about as a possibility after you graduate or from high school, let's say. So I'm curious about your ideas on that. And maybe the things that I also noticed that there was a fear of loneliness if you become a shepherd, that it's not very social, that you can be months and months away from anybody. And then when the shepherds sort of change in their let's say winter huts or exchange periods with other shepherds, that's the moment of great social I'm seeing somebody for the first time in months. So anyway, it's an interesting dilemma I'm putting forth.
Yeah.
It was a lot I said, but I'm so curious
Yeah,
here.
what you say. Yeah. I'm I'm totally what you already said. I Yeah, it's true that many young people search maybe for alternative ways of living, more connected with the nature and with the environment, and also, like as you told, with this strong um, environmental depression and climate change and everything. But although I want to be optimistic, I'm also kind of sometimes, yeah, I'm not so sure about, but because when I talk to my um, family partners, like a mother or father or something, I think in all the generations there are these kind of maybe like alternative people, like you can see in the 60s, or I think in every generation you see some of the alternative that search for an escape of these maybe more traditional ways of living. And I'm not sure if in my generation there are more people searching out for this kind of ways of living, or are the same as the other generations. Uh, like the important factor here is this climate change, but I also see that yeah, maybe the perspective on how a lot of young people see how climate change worked is they still stay in the city, but they maybe do or take some life decisions, as like for example not eating meat, and they think not eating meat it would be like it's gonna change the world, something like this. I think there is still a profound lack of understanding what's actually extensive livestock management, the importance of extensive livestock management, the importance of these kinds of sustainable ways of making food. Um, I'm not sure, yeah, how deep the understanding of, or actually how many people decide to change their life, saying no, I'm going to be a shepherdess, or they say no, I'm going to buy less plastic and eat less meat, which it's also helpful, but I think there's a lack of a deep understanding on how these traditions, these systems work. So I think yeah, I think this is why still a lot of people that are concerned about the future, about the climate change, maybe they don't think about pastoralism as an alternative way of living, because I think there's a profound lack of understanding of how our food systems actually work, or how sustainability worked or something.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Um,
Yes, yes,
yeah,
one friend is raising hand.
yeah.
Please speak out, Liban.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, I would like to thank Grassroots Institute, and also thank you, Celia, for your very informative presentation. Yeah, I'm clear with all your points, but I have I have two questions. Yeah, yeah, you already highlighted one. Yeah, how maybe I would like to the effectiveness of mobile fencing. Yeah, here I think if this mobile fencing, yeah, I would love to hear from you how it is effective. Maybe if we need to employ for the wide area of rangelands. Yeah, that is one question. The other thing is just the youth migration from maybe from the rural, from the pastoralists to the town. Yeah, as you mentioned, we need to just keep our herds. Yeah, I could see more you have is small ruminant like sheep and yeah, I think goats. Yeah, here we have even cattle and camels. Something most people maybe argue is just pastoralist community, they are labor intensive because we need labor to keep our livestock. We need someone who take them to the water point, or we need someone who maybe keep them in for the ranging. So relating with this, so this uh, pastoralism is maybe causing just the or competing with the youth education opportunity. Yeah, if we have to assign someone to keep the livestock, maybe how we can just manage education opportunity for youth and then shepherds, because we need someone who keep the livestock, and at the same time, yeah, we need the same man to also send him school. So how we can manage these two competing interests in pastoralist area? Thank you.
So which are the specific questions? I don't listen very good.
Celia, am I clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No, she's saying that your question is not clear. What do you want to ask? You have spoken a lot, but what is your exact question?
Okay, my question is how we can just compromise the two controversial interesting, because we need someone to keep the animal, and again we need the same man to send to school. So yeah, this pastoralism needs maybe labor intensive, because we need someone to keep the livestock. Maybe if it is from a family, we also need we want to send also that man to send to school. So how we can just compromise these two controversial demanding in pastoralist region? That is my question.
Like, do you mean like a family that has livestock, and how you compromise sending the kids to school and
Keeping livestock, yeah.
in keeping
That's
livestock? Yeah,
yeah.
maybe I'm not. I don't know, because maybe it's more specific for your country, maybe. Like here usually, yeah, maybe like the kids. I saw a lot of kids in that grow up in the farm that help with livestock, but they also go to school, and the parents um, uh, do the livestock work.
Uh, can I intervene a bit?
Yeah,
Celia,
sure.
with your permission, I think his question I like to address.
Yeah.
Dear, your question is very different. Actually, what you are talking about is is in African context, where even the younger boys or younger boys go for herding the animals, maybe along with the adults, and sometimes they are also alone. They have been herding the animals. So what he is raising the point is that whether they should be studying in a school, they should be sent to the school, or they should be going for herding. So here there are different examples and there are different options. Okay. So just give me a few seconds. I continue, please. Yes, sorry. So actually, there are the different situations in different countries, and there are different examples how this competing interests or competing activities have been sorted out. For example, long ago means like around 30 years ago. 30 years ago, even that time I was younger. So there was a very popular experiment done in India by one chief minister, very famous chief minister of one state. So what he did, he started one school for the herders or the shepherds, we can say. In their language, the term is different. So what he did, the schools were moving along with the herder children. If there were the younger boys or girls moving along with the livestock, so particularly the buffalo, which is the black in the color, was used as a blackboard. You will be laughing, but this is a real experiment. The buffalo, which is the black in color, was used as the blackboard, and by a chalk, the teacher has to write on the buffalo to teach the children, and the children, like herding the animals, um, uh, uh, over a kind of area where the many children, like young boys, were herding the animals. They were called together, brought together, and then teacher started teaching, and one buffalo was taken as the blackboard. So this kind of the experiment was done long ago, and Lalu Prasad Yadav is the name of that chief minister. He died recently. No, no, sorry, died, not died yet. I'm sorry. So he was very famous for this experiment. So this similarly, like there is one herding community. It's called Gujjars in the Himalayan foothills of India again. They have had very good experiment of integrating the education for their children, and also like milk selling or other kind of the livelihoods, but they are the nomads, quite enough nomads, not semi nomads, but they are like 80% or 70% nomads. So this experiment, another experiment was done with these people. So I think in numerous countries there are such issues and challenges wherein the other activities, competing activities, were just sorted out this way. So you really have to think in your area how to deal with such issues. And I do not think the Africa is not having similar examples of sorting out such problems. So there are the solutions if you really want to do that. So, but in Europe, actually, the situation is different. Like the children are not allowed to do these kind of economic activities, right? So all children are sent to the school. The situations are completely different in Europe. Thank you.
Yes, I have a question, Celia. Thank you, first of all, for your wonderful presentation. My question is about your practice, because you are very mobile. You are going from a country to another country. I would like, how does it work? How do you know where and when to go? This is the first question. The second question, I saw on your pictures, there is lots of young shepherdess. Are they also like you, flying shepherdess, if I can put it like that, going from a country to another country? And the third question is about the migration, because many shepherds in the mountains in Italy, Spain, or France, they helped people from other countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, or Africa to cross the border. I guess that some of these people, they come from the mountain. So the question is, did some of them stay and help to work with the shepherds in Europe, in the idea of because you mentioned the shepherd population is getting older. There is a lack of knowledge. There is a lack of people. So are these people, these refugees, as we call them, came and stayed in the mountains to help and to work and to show their knowledge and practices? Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I had like my first experience of shepherding was in this shepherd school, which was really helpful for start like in this profession, because there you learn the people and you reach the people who have the same interests as you. And then once you begin to ask other shepherds where they worked, um, how they found their works, and then you experience like you call some farmers, or there are some specific internet websites where you can search for shepherding work. In the Alp region is it's a very good website where you can find a lot of employee as a shepherdess during most of it during the summer, during the alpage, during the summer months. and and yeah, once you begin, you know more people, and then when also when you do, like, there are not a lot of young shepherds, as I said, and when you earn um like this status of a good shepherdess, and when you, or something, you get called from other farmers or from other mountains, and then they ask you to work for them. and and yeah, there are actually, yeah, in my photos there are a lot of young people. These are the people who I work with, not only young people, but a lot. But we are only a couple of them. Like, I think I know all young shepherds in Spain actually, because we are like a small community, and we do a lot of community, and then we have WhatsApp groups or Telegram groups where we support each other. And then I think, yeah, we are small but a very very united community. And yeah, I worked in, as you said, like in different countries, and I moved like with my two dogs and with my car. This is how I move between countries. And and yeah, now I'm staying in Switzerland. And the last question about the migrant, I'm not sure if I understand so well, but yeah, it is like how I'm now working in Switzerland. I'm working because I'm interested on being other working, like seeing other farms, seeing other mountains. I also came here because of the better working conditions, and like I am, actually a lot of shepherding works in Switzerland are done by migrants, like European migrants like me, like Spanish or from France or from Germany a lot. And in Spain, the work it's they're really not very good working conditions. So no Spanish people or very little Spanish people do this work, and a lot of migrants do shepherding work. So you can see a lot of uh, refugees or migrants coming maybe from African countries doing actually the shepherding works, because it's not very, as I said, it's not very attractive for young people. It's not very well done seen to be a shepherdess. Because also there is like this picture of shepherding, of farming, of staying in the land and not going to the city. This is this perspective, this seeing that you are kind of dumb or something if you stay at the land and not go to the city to have like a modern life or something like that.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Philip, you were speaking about the cross-border mobility in African countries. You gave this reference. I don't know where were you comparing the European cross-border movement or with
No, no,
African?
no, 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 no. Because with the closure of the borders in Europe, some people from Africa or from Asian countries, they had to come in the pass through the mountains, and the community of shepherds helped them to pass. This is
Ah,
what it meant.
sorry, no, I never saw some refugee going through the mountains. I didn't know. I
Okay.
didn't met any of them, but I would have helped them if I met one.
Yeah, there was some stories in the media in La Jolla area about that. Okay, thank you very much.
Hi, Celia. Thank you so much for your talk. It's very interesting to hear about the work that you're doing. So I have two questions. The first one is about dogs. Livestock guardian dogs are big. They eat a lot of
Yeah.
food and they drink more water than the sheep. So how do you take care of the dogs when you're moving?
So I'm not like usually there are these livestock guardian dogs and these shepherding dogs. So usually a shepherd who works for others owns shepherding dogs, but doesn't own livestock guardian dogs. These come along with the sheep, along with the livestock. So they are from the farmers or from some organizations like coexistence with predators organizations. So they are only like for the where in the mountains where I worked, the dogs were from the farmers itself. So during the winter they live, or here now in Switzerland where I work, they live on the farm. And for the summer, for the mountain regions, which are predator rich, uh, they move along with the flock to the mountains. And for the mountains, where usually these high altitude pastures, you can't reach it. You can only reach it by feet. You can't reach it with a car or so. We have like we live in Europe, and we have helicopter flights once at the beginning and once at the end of the season, and we need make how do you say, calculate how much food the dogs, the shepherding dogs and the livestock guardian dogs need for the whole season, and then they fly all the food for the whole season. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. My second question is at the shepherding school, I guess they teach you how to take care of sheep. Do they also teach you survival skills, self-defense? Do they teach other subjects in addition to caring for livestock?
Not in my school, not in the theory. I'm not sure if like in Spain there are a lot of shepherding schools. I only visited one of them. Um, no, only the theory thematic was only about sheep and livestock and pastoral management also, and not so much like the survival things, which I think they're very practical. And so if you are in very high altitude mountains like in the Alps, but I learned this in my when I worked with some older shepherds. So I think it's very important maybe to visit a school and then to do to work several months or years or something, work with experienced shepherds or shepherdess that know the mountain diet, that knows how to survive in the mountain. So the practical things or the most of my shepherding knowledge, I actually learned it from some older shepherds. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I don't know if I can talk now or if the other person has finished. First of all, I would like to say one thing. Also in Europe is the same problem with the children. I'm very sorry, even in France. Because in France, in some places, are families going together. But I would like to talk about Albania because I'm working there. Is not only the problem when the children are going to, with all the family, to the high pastures. You have a lot of children who even don't have access to school or very little because they have to walk for many, many hours to find the first school. Even if there is some civil society organization to try to help them, of course, I understand the parents who said we cannot risk that they are meeting the bear, the snakes, and so on. Surely is this problem in other countries, but is another problem. And I think in the policies can be something can be said. I wrote also in the chat, but is to say that it is very important to see the special situation of the shepherd children. We have another problem at school that all, for example, this, natural sciences, geography, and many things is totally in, we are talking in another way than what other children are learning with the parents because we are working together. And I think is a mixture that, and it's very interesting for everyone. We did the shepherd school in Albania, where the even children from the city, children from Hungary, who were in the highest international schools came, and it was the little shepherds who were university professors to also to give them this empirical understanding they are learning through the parents, and was very interesting experience. And I would like to go to a last point that in all the shepherd school, and this is exactly what now in Albania is the big challenge to think about, because the government wants to make the academy for the shepherds, is to take in account, and before it is too late, all these empirical knowledge. Of course, it is not enough, must be also scientific to be mixed at least with some people. But the last thing I would like to say was a very interesting example in France after the Second World War. too many men were killed, and they made alternative schools from the playgroup up to university, where the children were involved, the parents and also all the social community of the village, for example, and so on, where 1 week they are at school and 1 week they are learning. And maybe there are some models to think about this kind of things. This is what we are working also around in Albania now.
Okay, any other question or any other reflection? Otherwise, we are closing this session today.
There is another question about dogs in the chat. Because we seem to like the dogs. How do shepherds usually get a sheepdog? Where do they get their sheepdogs?
Yeah. Yeah, there are different ways. So I know some people that go to specialized breeders to buy a dog with proven working abilities. These are usually like the border collies or kelpies. And another common way is to get some puppies or dogs from other shepherds or from other farmers. So if you see a shepherd with a very good dog with good herding skills, you can ask them if when they get puppies to get one or to buy one. And yeah, these often, if you move in this like shepherding world, this is often done with tight-knit communities, like where dogs are passed on or exchanged also to ensure good working dogs. Yeah. So yeah, if you go to specific breeders, the price can be very high. And if you go to shepherds, where maybe these skills are not so proved, but they're still very good working dogs, the price can get a little bit yeah, not so high. And I think who pays the helicopter? Yeah, here in Switzerland or also in Austria, and I think in France too, but I'm not sure, like in the Alp region. The government pays for it because the government often supports like these projects through subsidies for helping shepherds to coexist with predators. So the subsidies are for helicopter transport, for electric fencing, and also for the livestock guardian dogs. And yeah, so in summary, like the government cover these costs through these funds allocated from conservation and wildlife coexistence. Yeah. And in Spain, for example, usually the montes are a little bit not so, they're high altitude also, but not so much. And usually you can reach the most pastures by the car. so you can provide the food of the dogs with the car. Yeah.
Thank you.
I am, and the school. Yeah, I know also a lot of schools in France that they have theory and practice. And
Oh, okay. Thank you, Celia, for your time and contributions. We are closing this session today, okay? And then hopefully we will meet somewhere, some point of time in the future. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you.
Muchas
so thank
gracias,
you.
Celia.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Gracias.
Thank you, everyone.
You're an inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.